game, they were upset.
Right, yeah. I mean, you got to play in May. There's all kinds of little elements, surprises, things you're used to, not used to, and you got to manage it minute by minute, play by play, moment by moment. As you see St. Joe's game possession. 3 red jerseys on. UMass going the other way.
UMass will pick it back up with Hammett.
And you see the relentless pressure. Sorry about that, big guy.
No look there from Hammett, and he did a good job of recovering it initially, but possession will go back to the team that won that initial face-off, and a big focus for every team when they take on this St. Joe's team is figuring out how. That's a athlete factory out there just south of Denver.
Go Niners.
Valor Christian. And he gets the goal, and there you see it. You know, they've got 3 or 4 players who are amongst the top 10 in the conference in scoring, and that's a guy who has 5 goals on the season who comes up with the first goal of the postseason. Now, UMass gets off the faceoff. Good job by Caleb Hammett. Hammett, by the way, was clicking it almost this year and had some growing pains adjusting to what is a step up in terms of the play in this conference and also the style of play that Greg Cannella wants.
And here
Meanwhile,
you go.
Caleb Hammett, again, another faceoff win, and Tobin has a chance to give UMass the 2-for-1. This is something that UMass has struggled with at times this year, controlling the runs. Greg Cannella mentioned it. In the first game these 2 teams played, the Hawks went on 5-0 and 3-0 runs in what was only a 5-goal game. UMass Sykesville out of Liberty High.
Crab cakes and football.
Crab cakes,
lacrosse
football,
too.
and lacrosse. I'm Nathan Strauss, Rob Cross,
Maybe a little bit of a hand.
Sizz here in Amherst. This is the first of the 2 semifinal games.
Pleasure
today.
to be alongside you today here, Nate Dogg. Lots of fun.
The week truly began with us getting...
Good job, young man.
And you talk about experience. Note a tremendously experienced player last year, an All-American. This year, the A10 Colt Goalie of the Year with Zach Vigue, who we'll see in our second game today of Richmond.
See, this is hard. Even though you're winning the faceoffs and going backwards, it allows St. Joe's to line up in their 10-man.
And St. Joe's, because they
here comes the
use
Honey
their
Badger.
twins.
And you got to handle pressure. You know, these poles are coming up in the middle. Good job, young man.
And you talk about experience. Note a tremendously experienced player last year, an All-American. This year, the A10 Colt Goalie of the Year with Zach Vigue, who we'll see in our second game today of Richmond.
See, this is hard. Even though you're winning the faceoffs and going backwards, it allows St. Joe's to line up in their 10-man.
And St. Joe's, because they
here comes
use
the Honey
their
Badger.
twins.
And you got to handle pressure. You know, these poles are coming up in the middle.
Every coach this week, I asked each one of them, where has the game changed the most? And the most common answer was, it's not as scripted anymore. Teams are allowed to be creative with their offense. You're not running set plays every time. But UMass, when they are able to set up, it's when they've had their most success.
Great ground ball play here.
A ground ball picked up. And again, the poles get forward so quickly for this St. Joe's team.
Yeah, and
already selected by the Saskatchewan Rush. He'll play box next year, not too far there in Manitoba from where he's from, in Calgary. A lot of great clubs there in the Calgary area, including many clubs with ties to Coach Taylor Ray, who's a Calgary boy himself. Calgary. Of course, he also captained the Women's Lacrosse Championship that is taking place in Western Pennsylvania, hosted by Duquesne. That action began today as well, and a big shout out to the fans of all teams, the parents of all teams, who are trying to split their viewing attention here as the second half gets underway with a face-off win for the visiting Spiders. But they are the 1 seed, and they get a quick goal to begin as a hammer of a shot will put the Hawks up 2.
I mean, credit to Tygh coming out the front door with this, but if you're a face-off guy and you have the ability to throw a trail pass and get an assist on the play, I mean, that's unbelievable. Keeps his hands nice and high, sledgehammer at the county fair, ding, goal.
And he's a little shaken up as he heads to the sideline here. He took some contact, but then it feels like once he gets to the sideline, now he's got the energy back. That was a big hit that he absorbed, and it comes off of a good, clean face-off win.
Yeah, you got to earn your goals today.
Just the second goal of the season for Alex Keener, and here we go. St. Joe's has done this all year long. It's Tygh whose shot goes over the pipe.
I like that decision by UMass defense there to hold and not come off that lethal attack unit and make the other guy.
Lenore Ryan transfer. Paige had an interesting story as well.
Buddy.
Grew up playing box lacrosse in Peterborough, Ontario, and then played at the Hill School in Pennsylvania.
There you go.
And transitioned to field lacrosse. And the game just slowed down for him. It got easier because of all the extra space and transitioned seamlessly and has never looked back.
And apologies, but still, you know, towards the middle, away from the crease, away from the circle. I always make fun of my Elms guys when they step in it. The crease is a stationary object. It doesn't move.
It's like they always used to say, the field's the same size
That's right.
everywhere you go.
That's right.
UMass will come away with a face-off win here, something they have done a better job of today than in the earlier matchup this year.
And
Caleb Hammett has risen, I suppose, to the occasion.
Yeah, riz, like a loaf of bread. Rising to the occasion. Got to get him in the oven, keep him
All-star, and someone who has basically dominated at every stop he's been at from his playing days into his coaching days.
Absolutely, and I can remember when he was an assistant coach at Lehigh, he coached the defense in the man-down unit, and those guys were like no joke. And I played pickup hoops against Coach Ray, and you see
of players who have been amongst the all-time greats here, whether it's Will Manny, whether it's Gabe Prosick, guys who are scoring over 100, 150 career goals, and Tobin over 100 career points comfortably, just looking to fill in that same vein.
Yeah, and one that stands out to me, Sean Morris. I mean, guy's a legend, tough as nails, and yeah, I mean, it's impressive. I mean, that list says it all right there. What more can you say? I mean, if you're going to be surrounded by some programs, those are the ones.
Anderson now with 5 goals and 3 assists in 6.5 quarters of play against the Minutemen this year. But here comes Hammett looking for the response, and he bounces it just wide.
That's a good take, and we spoke about that earlier in the game. If you can get out the front to avoid that ride and get those first-time possessions offensively, if you're UMass, it's going to pay dividends.
The stats, the PA announcing, the video board, and everything else that comes with hosting a postseason tournament.
All hands on deck, Nate Dogg. Gotta love it.
Beginning the fourth, it is a 2-goal lead for the 1 seed St. Joseph's Hawks. They have won 10 consecutive games, looking to make it an 11th to get to the A10 championship. For the first time, they fell in the opening round of last year's game.
Behind the back,
and a behind-the-back pass from Caleb Hammett. That's drippy indeed. And UMass will establish the first possession here of the fourth.
I think you're going to see a...
So far today, make it now 2 goals and an apple for O'Leary again. So UMass has made it a 1-goal game.
Shout out to Mr. O'Leary, who I spoke to in pregame. Told him his son was going to have a big one today. Great player, as you see right there. Just does a lot for UMass. Super athlete.
Face-off win for Tygh and the St. Joseph's Hawks. Even up, by the way, 9-9 in face-offs.
That's great. I mean, 2 good goalies, 2 good efforts at the face-off X. I mean, this game is action-packed.
And we'll see it.
And who else? The man with the plan.
And you know the man who had the record for St. Joe's goals. He's on the sideline right now for them.
Coach Restivio?
Coach Restivio.
He was a baller. I used to work St. Joe's tension, wing-to-wing skip. Great set out of UMass there.
They give up the fewest goals in the country. Just over 8 per game. And 802 goals against for this netminder.
Face-off violation. I believe that's 1.
802 goals against for Tommy Gross and a .520 save percentage coming into this game. 9-0-0 the record. Anderson, which makes sense, he has been their most dangerous player. 11 shots today.
And they slid to him on the rollback and one-handed lever pass on the money. Unbelievable.
This is a team that is built to compete at this time of year. Hammett picks up the face-off.
Good goose.
And he's able to get it out quickly, and UMass trying to just get it across and set up here, and they finally will. It's the task becoming more and more daunting for the Minutemen.
The skill top to bottom from this St. Joe's team is something to take note of. They make hard plays look like routine plays because they are so savvy and so skilled.
And UMass is going to have to eventually begin to start thinking about trapping, thinking about if UMass can't do the impossible in the next 24 seconds, playing his last name at Garber Field. Someone who has already enlisted to
GB by Tygh.
Serve the country, going to officers' school. A great family of UMass lacrosse players amongst the players playing their final collegiate game today. It's the hardest part of any collegiate season. St. Joe's carrying it to the corner. Carter Page, who had himself a great game, will throw it up to the air. And the St. Joseph Hawks have spread their wings, and they're flying to the